All right, what's up, everyone? We are here for another breakdown. I realized after doing last week and John Elway, I know there's a lot of people that are asking for different people to get broken down. That's much more in the younger generation, but I feel like we got to get some of the classic quarterbacks broken down before we get into the new age, just because there's so many great guys that's been in the past that have proven how to be successful within the National Football League, and I think that's for all young quarterbacks. That's the end goal. So, how if we're talking about some of the greatest quarterbacks, how do we not have Joe Montana already done? So I had to do Joe Montana here. Went through his mechanics. I think that it's awesome. I think there's definitely some things that we can use within his throwing style that will just be excellent for people to see. So, first one that we have here is just a out of a hitch, a 5-step drop out of a hitch, or a 7-step drop out of the hitch. And so what we see is he does a great job of some of the things that we talked about before. I mean, look at how much he uses those hips as he's coming through. One of the things that he does that's very interesting, and before I get into it, sorry about the quality. I mean, these are older videos, so it's not going to be near as good a quality. The frame rate's not going to be as good, or wasn't recorded as good of a video, but you can still see some of the things that he's really good at, and that's that he uses his anterior oblique line, which is the muscles that come from right underneath that shoulder, right in the front of that shoulder, down and across onto the front hip so well. I mean, you can see how he just loads up here and he stretches it. He might have a little bit more low back overextension with how his spine is aligned, and that makes it so he can just stretch out that anterior oblique a little bit more. But he does two things that we talk about really well, and that's one, look at how much force he's generating off of that back leg as he's going and pushing off, and he really pushes from that back leg. And then another thing, look at how stable that front leg is, right? He's just rotating right around that leg to deliver that ball, and you can see how he cocks up and just lets it rip. Which is really an awesome throw that ends up being there, and just really cool to be able to see what it is that he does in that way, and that he also has just really good mechanics as well. He has that classic just really circular motion there. He doesn't let that ball get too far back behind his head. Again, he has a little bit of an extension, that low back, which just means that he could probably improve a little bit of his shoulder range of motion, but overall not too bad. Again, though, let's see him generate force off that back leg. Look at how much he twists in with that foot there on that right leg as he's loading to throw. He gets those hips around. And then again, I mean, he does a phenomenal job of just getting that, using that anterior oblique line as he's coming through, and just generates a lot of force there. And that actually really increases his release. So he's kind of slow back, and then he just fires it through, which is, I think, an interesting thing, and probably something that we'll start using with more quarterbacks, is to really load that front line and then let it go from there. We could see it. Or here was a little bit more of an interesting one where he kind of gets back and he kind of lowers himself a little bit and then stands up as he's throwing. He has a little bit more of an extension in that front knee as he's going through, but still big push off that back leg. So this could be one of the things that he tries to do when he really tries to gun it in there, is he sinks down a little bit more with those hips and then pops up to let it go. Which I think would be another interesting thing to utilize. He still uses a lot of hips, as you can see, and I think the really cool thing that you see with him is just how much he really generates torque in that spine, and you can tell he really works on tucking that front shoulder. You can see he's coming through. He's really, left elbow is getting tucked as he's delivering that ball, which is, I think, a good thing to take in consideration. Really using that left hip, that left shoulder to really cork your body around and use that spine to generate a lot of force in that throw. And notice that really, none of these things that he's doing are really, using all arm. It's using a lot of the other parts of the body. He's getting a great push off that right leg. He's getting a lot of spin out of that left front elbow, and great hip rotation. These are the things that you need in order to really become a really optimize your release. during the throw, and then also become more accurate and be able to put more power on the ball. It's really, yeah, you need a strong arm, yeah, you need a good rotator cuff, yeah, you need good shoulder range of motion. There's some things that I think are just kind of given to you, but really what you want to do in order to really prolong your career is you want to figure out how to use your whole body in order to get into throws, and really what that does to me more than anything is it makes you more accurate. So I think with Joe Montana, he's a great example. I mean, one of the most accurate quarterbacks I think we've ever seen. So again, I wanted to get a breakdown of Joe Montana. I think it's going to be super exciting to see the response from this, and in the near future we'll probably keep on doing some old throwback guys just to get them some time, some airtime here on the on the breakdowns here. So then we'll get into some new guys as well. So thanks again for watching all these videos. If you want to learn more about the Performance Lab, go ahead and check out our website. We also got a membership page. There's a lot of great content we're putting on, and we're really excited for the near future here. We're going to try to get as much information to all of our subscribers and our followers, and really try to make it so this is a very, very valuable place to learn a lot about the body and how to become a better athlete. So thanks again. We appreciate your support so much. Bye.